Hey YouTube, it's Ash, and I'm back with another story time. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button before the video start and follow me on my social media account. So yeah, let's get started. So I know when you click this title, you're like, huh? Like, how does that work? Basically, after my Vlogmas videos and I showed you guys my family and stuff, I've been getting a lot of the same questions, like wondering like, what is she like? My family dynamic is kind of like very weird. So I'm going to explain, and this is not clickbait or anything. This is like real life legit. So let me rewind and explain or whatever. So when I was young, my parents got divorced. My mom and dad, my biological mom and dad got a divorce when I was like 13. They had been separated, but they didn't really get the divorce until I was like 13. And that's when I lived in Virginia. So that's why I always go back to Virginia, because I lived there from the age of 5 till 13. Yeah, so elementary, middle school, I lived there. I grew up there, and that's why I always go back there. And before that, I had lived overseas because my dad's in the military. So we lived in Scotland, that's where I was born, and in Spain. The reason I left Virginia was not because my parents divorced, but my mom remarried. She remarried Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Rogers lived in Georgia. So we basically, we picked up and then we moved here. Now I took the divorce really hard. My real parents divorced. I took the divorce really hard. I didn't want to leave my dad. Like, I remember my mom telling me, and I like fell out on the floor, like dying, crying. I remember this like vividly. She told me, I ran to the parking lot screaming like a full-on tantrum because my family was everything to me, and I didn't want no stepmom, I didn't want no stepdad, none of that. I didn't want any of that. So when she told me that, I literally fell out. But she told me that, I remember she told me like, oh, we're not moving, we're gonna stay in Virginia, blah, and all this stuff. But she met my stepdad, Mr. Rogers, the one that you always see, like the funny one and stuff. Yeah, she met him, and he already had a house here in Georgia. My sister Giselle, my brother Jawaski, like he already had everything pretty much together here. So my mom decided to come here, and so like my life was uprooted. I didn't want to leave because my dad still stayed in Virginia, but you kind of need your mom to grow up and stuff. So I went with my mom, and so we moved here, and it's crazy because the first day we moved here, the house burned down. I have a story time on that too. I already have it up. Like, go look on the playlist. I'll leave a link to, like, the house burned down the day we moved in here. But anyway, so yeah, I was over Georgia. I did not want to be here, any of that, like none of it. I was over it. So then, yeah, so Mr. Roger became my stepdad. Since those were my high school years, like I was a kid, so like I felt like my real dad and him played a big part in my life. Like, I loved the both of them. They really played a big part of my life. And my dad ended up eventually marrying my stepmom, and I love her to death too. So I had loved it. Like, I had loved being a divorced kid, literally. I still do. Like, I have the best step parents anybody can ask for, and I don't want my parents together, because now that how I see how they are with my step parents, like, that's how love is supposed to be. So divorce is always not bad, and you get double the gifts, guys, double the birthday money, double everything. So yeah, so everything was great. Like, loved my step parents and all that stuff. High school went by, then I went to college. My freshman year of college, that summer that I came home, you have to come home for the summer. I came home, and my mom was like that her and Mr. Rogers were getting a divorce. And I was just like, what? Like, that literally tore me apart, because Mr. Rogers is literally, it's no steps. Like, he's my family. He's literally my family. And all his family is my family. Like, we don't even use those step cousins. Like, no, like, that's family. The only reason I'm being like so specific is because of the video. But we don't use all that. So I was like, what? Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, he's not gonna be in my life anymore. What about my life in Georgia? Because my mom was like, she wants to go back to Virginia, and she wants me to come with her. And I'm just like, no, like, I love Atlanta. I love West Georgia, my school that I go to. And I was just getting into a relationship. So I'm just like, no, I don't want to leave him either. Like, it was just so much going on. I was just like, are you serious? Like, no. I'm like, so what now? Like it just broke me down completely. Cause I'm like, I'm going through all this again. Like I literally went through this a couple years ago and now I'm going through it again. Like it really like got to me. And the fact that my mom was leaving to Virginia, like it just really got to me. So I'm like, well dang, like if I stay here, I'm gonna be literally on, like literally not on my own, but kind of like you really got to grow up because your mom is not there. Like, you know, like everybody else has their mom, and it's still like this to this day. Everybody else has their mom there for them. Like when they go home, you know, they get the home cooked meals. My mom, she moved back to Virginia. She lives all the way in Virginia. And my dad, he eventually left Virginia and went to South Carolina. So he lives there. So it's kind of like, dang, like what in the world? But so we sat down and Mr. Rogers told me that no matter what him and my mom got going on, that doesn't affect our relationship. He's still my stepdad. He's still there for me, and that I could still live in the house. So long story short, I'm still in the house right now. Like literally, Mr. Rogers outside, and literally he treats me as if I'm literally his own, and that's what I love. Like when I tell everybody, like they're like, oh, where your parents live? And I tell them different states, and they're like, where do you live? And I live with my stepdad. I live in the house. They're like, really? Even though that him and your mom got divorced? I'm like, yeah, and I still call him that because that's just what it is. So I live basically just where I'm at right now. This is what it feels me, Phil. That's where I live. And so people are always confused. They're like, how's that your stepdad? Like, where's your mom? And then you guys are like, wait, when you go to Virginia, and then I see you with your mom and her husband. So how does that work? So that's basically like what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Like, yeah, Mr. Roger and my mom, they divorced, so he no longer was my stepdad, but he still is in my heart, and that's who I live with. But when I go to Virginia, my mom did end up remarrying, so she has a husband and stuff. So then technically that means I have two stepdads. So like you guys are always confused, like dang, like I'm so confused. Like do y'all be like, y'all believe in comments like, dang, actually mom she just don't be caring. But that's really how it happened. Like they got a divorce when I was 18, 19, and so she remarried. I'm 22 now, so she remarried. So yeah, so I got two stepdads. And so yeah, Mr. Rogers dating again, and you guys seen that in a vlog, I believe. But yeah, everything's good. That's just my family dynamic. It's just a weird dynamic, but it works. So that explains that whole situation. Because every time during the holidays, you guys are so confused. And I would be too. But yeah, that explains that situation. That's it. As always, subscribe, comment, and like, and let me know any other video ideas you guys want to see. All right, bye guys. Today's is gonna be about the time I wrecked my mom's brand new car, and on top of that, it was a Camaro. I see a freaking truck on one side of me, and I see a raccoon on the other.